The Golden State Warriors just sent a message to the entire Western Conference, and it wasn't subtle. On the road, in one of the toughest defensive buildings in the league, they absolutely dismantled the Timberwolves 111-85. And they did it while Stephen Curry was dealing with knee soreness and still casually climbing the NBA's all-time scoring ladder. This wasn't just another win. This felt like a statement that this team is figuring something out at exactly the right time.
Fourth quarter, Steph Curry showed up and had 9 points. This is what the Warriors are going to look like. You got to take some pressure off of Steph. You got to take advantage of that double team that Steph gets. And I thought the Warriors did that. They found some new lineups tonight. And going to Minnesota really looked sleepy, except for Anthony Edwards and Dante DiVincenzo. Those are the only two players that showed up tonight. I thought the Warriors' physicality won this game tonight.
Yeah, we talked pregame about points off turnovers. And the Warriors won that battle 25-13. They were plus 12, but they really dominated more than that. They had got off to a good start, as you said, Bonte. Second quarter, towards the end of the half, Minnesota made a run and looked like the Warriors didn't take advantage of the 16 turnovers in the first half. But then the third quarter happened, and they dominated 38-17. Just put together a great third quarter. And as Fezzi said, to me, this is a great win come off the Dallas loss, their first win since Jimmy Butler's injury. So a good bounce-back win, total team effort. And then for the Wolves, the players that I was concerned about for the Warriors basically were no-shows.
Yeah.
Jaden McDaniels, Julius Randle, Naz Reid was 0, and then Rudy Gobert. So the front line, which you would think that's what they were going to take advantage of, they didn't even show up to the game. It was really just Anthony Edwards and Dante DiVincenzo.
Naz Reid has been a Warriors killer. Goose egg tonight in 25 minutes for the T-Wolves. The Warriors force a season-high 26 turnovers, now improved to 21-5 when they have fewer or the same turnovers as their opponent. They get the win, and Moses Moody had a lot to do with it. He stopped by with Tim Roy and Kalen Azubuike. How about this? Minnesota has scored at least 100 points in a basketball game, 100 straight games. That was the third longest streak in NBA history. Well, tonight they just scored 85 as they turned the ball over, and they had 7 turnovers in the first 6 minutes of the game as the Warriors got off to a hot start there in the first quarter. Minnesota scores the first basket of the game. Next thing you know, the Warriors have scored 14 straight. Hot out of the gate, Fezzi, and we mentioned that in our pregame tip. Get off to a faster start. The Warriors, 27th in the league in points per game in the first quarter.
I love the point of emphasis for this game. Ball movement, ball security, only 12 turnovers for the Warriors, and everybody was a threat on the floor. You see Al Horford right there making a shot, but that came from Moses Moody being aggressive, getting to the cup. This is what you need right here from everybody. You're not able to score, get a steal. Hold the Minnesota Timberwolves to 38% from the field. That's a way to also get a win on the night.
Yeah, these weren't just turnovers where you take. These were live ball turnovers that led to direct layups for the Warriors, got them off to a great start, as you said, Bonte. But this, Moses Moody had a nice game. They had so many great players have good games off the bench across the board, total team effort. 31 assists, and you mentioned just 12 turnovers. And that's on a night where they didn't really make shots. To get 31 assists and shoot 42% from the field, impressive number. Once again, took care of the basketball. This was a big win to me because of the tough Dallas loss. And I think it's the first time they're feeling really good about themselves since the Jimmy Butler injury.
You have to grit it out. 20 steals. That's a point of emphasis. That's winning every loose ball. That's being the physical team, especially in Minnesota, on their home turf. That was a good way to start this back-to-back.
Steph dropping 26 points, 7 assists, and 4 steals in a game where he was literally listed as questionable is the definition of superstar leadership. He passed John Havlicek to move into 20th place on the NBA's all-time scoring list. And what makes that wild is that he didn't even need a crazy shooting night to do it. Minnesota threw double teams at him, they tried to wear him down physically, and it didn't matter. His gravity alone created open looks all night long, and the Warriors punished him for it.
You saw Brandon Pajewski with 4 steals and a couple of those steals in the first quarter. But our closing argument, presented by Walk Up Law, you need a champion. And that is the third quarter where the Warriors basically put a lid on this basketball game, outscoring the T-Wolves 38-17. Fezzi, they shot 59% from the floor in that quarter, 5 of 11 from the three-point line, 12 assists. Meanwhile, the T-Wolves shot just 32% from the floor, and they were 1 of 7 from the three-point line.
I love seeing them get a stop. Every stop, they ran on the miss, on the makes. Paz was aggressive. He had 8 points. Guy had 7 points. He came in. There was actually a new wrinkle that Steve had where he subbed Guy in for Draymond, and that action with him and Steph actually looked really good. It's something to build on moving forward.
And Bonte, towards the end of the half, the Timberwolves cut it to 1, and they had 16 turnovers. And it looked like the Warriors had squandered some opportunities. But they came out in the third quarter, won that third quarter 38-17 with ball movement. We saw those wide open shots. So incredible third quarter to really put the game out of reach. And it looked like they demoralized. Now, I don't watch the Timberwolves that much. They looked like they demoralized them. Now, we mentioned pregame, it showed up, and it was exposed big time with the 26 turnovers, lack of a point guard. But they look like they got some deeper problems than missing a point guard.
Well, this game is interesting because this is the front of a back-to-back. So for the Warriors, bouncing back tomorrow, DeAnthony Melton, Al Horford, 2 people to watch out for if they're going to play. This is one of the things the Warriors are going to have to juggle moving forward. But they looked really good tonight.
Yep. Talk about setting the tone in that second half. The first 6 minutes of the third quarter, the Warriors had a 65-54 lead. They came out of the gate 17-7 to increase that 1-point lead they had at the half. Then they end that frame with a 21-8 run.
You can always tell the point of emphasis with the first play they run in the second half. The first play goes to Al Horford. Steve Kerr understanding that the bigs have to win their battle too. And I thought that gave the team a lot of energy. The role players knew that they had to be aggressive to get this win. And talk about the bigs holding Rudy Gobert to what? How many points? 4 points. You had Jaden McDaniels, you had Julius Randle with 11 points, but you have to shoot 11 shots to get those points. Naz Reid with a goose egg. That's the energy you need. You need to be able to win games defensively too.
Think about that. 18 points between McDaniels, Randle, Gobert, and Naz Reid.
Well, you can't play well if you don't show up.
No doubt about that. No doubt about that. These two teams
come on now.
will do it again. And how about this? Every member of the Golden State Warriors play.
Cut and that middle is free and open, but usually people are sagging off the guys. And Guy being in the game, Moses Moody being in the game, when those guys were being aggressive, the middle was open.
But this game was really about defense. 20 steals. 20. That is not luck. That is discipline, anticipation, and effort. Golden State forced Minnesota into 25 turnovers, and those weren't lazy passes. Those were live ball steals that turned into layups and open threes. That's how you break a team's spirit, and you could see it on the Timberwolves' faces by the middle of the third quarter.
Well, Moses, you got off to a great start tonight. The team got off to a great start. A lot of activity early on. How much was that a key for this win?
Yeah, we came out hard. We came out hot, just playing with energy, and the game usually rewards good basketball. So I think that was a result of that early on. The beginning of both quarters, we started off hot, started off fast, set the tone for the rest of the halves.
You guys forced 26 turnovers. That's wild. I had 25 points off of those turnovers. I mean, was that part of the discussion, just trying to come out and get super active with your hands? Did you expect them to maybe come out a little sluggish?
I think some of that's just testament to our coaching staff, assistant coaches, Rube, AV. I don't know who had the scout today. Rube had the scout today. So just knowing the plays, knowing where the ball is going to be, and being able to anticipate it.
And was it a point of emphasis to get out and fast break before the defense is set? Because you guys had 22 fast break points. You guys found a lot of flow there before the defense was really set, before they could really think defensively.
Yeah. I mean, that was something that happened. I can't tell you our points of emphasis because we got to be back tomorrow. I can't give them no heads up.
Hey, Moses, tonight, as throughout the season, the bench has been really good in terms of providing points and some energy. What's the status now for them now that there's no Jimmy? How important is that?
As important as ever. We have a really good team all the way throughout the bench, and I think that's a testament to that, saying anybody could be in and out of rotation, and the second unit can contribute just like anybody else. So just coming out here and keep doing what everybody does. Do it, and that's the mindset. No drama. Everybody good. Everybody okay with the situation, and coming out here putting their best foot forward every time you step on the floor.
And Moses, this is your 7th straight game in double-digit scoring. Talk to me about your confidence level. Where are you at with your game? How are you feeling?
I feel good. Just let the game come to you. Opportunities going to come, shots going to come, driving lanes going to present itself when you do the right things, when you play the right way, not try to force it. So I think that's how I try to approach the game.
Steve Kerr's lineup change mattered. Al Horford stepping into the starting unit completely stabilized the Warriors early and late in halves. That group with Curry, Podziemski, Moody, Draymond, and Horford was plus 14 in just about 11 minutes of action. That's not a coincidence. The Warriors have struggled in first quarters all season, and suddenly they jump out 14-8, control the tone, and never let Minnesota breathe.
Steve said just the atmosphere tonight was sad, somber. How would you describe the environment you played in tonight?
It was definitely that. I just know there's a lot of heavy hearts, and a lot of things, especially this Minneapolis community. Yesterday was rough. It's been rough, I know, out here, and you can kind of feel it when we got here, 2 days ago. The protests that were going on downtown, it was amazing to watch the turnout and peaceful protests, and the unified voice that was here, and you feel like that would kind of turn the tide, to a more positive direction, and you wake up in the morning and you see what happened. So obviously, there was no need and no place to have a game yesterday, and it's filtered over a little bit to the atmosphere today, like you said, as it should. There's a lot of change that needs to happen, and when you're here and you feel it, I was glued to the TV yesterday when we weren't playing, just watching the coverage and understanding what was going on and trying to really, get knowledgeable about it, and hopefully, again, the community kind of comes together and the right decisions are made so that there's more of a peaceful, environment here.
Moses mentioned being in his room and physically seeing the protests go through downtown.
Yeah, I got videos on my phone of it all the way down. It was 3 straight hours in negative 10-degree weather. It was beautiful to see that turnout, and that speaks to how important people felt to have their voice heard. And those elements, and whatever streets right outside our hotel, they were out, and it was amazing to watch.
So your day yesterday, were you part of the conversation on if the game should have gone on or not?
I talked to Coach, who was talking to obviously the Timberwolves organization, and it was very similar to. It's hard to catch up to everything that's going on here in the community when you just fly in and you understand what's going on, but how it affects players, the staff, the entire franchise, the families, and just supporting them in whatever decision made sense. Obviously, talking to the league, so that was pretty much it.
Are you planning to play tomorrow?
If everything goes well, yeah. With the recovery and all that between the night, minutes weren't crazy, so hopefully you respond well.
What happened with the knee? You just felt it post game during a workout?
Kind of something flared up yesterday when we came over to get a workout in. It was super weird. I've had stuff going on, quads and whatnot, but it was something that I hadn't felt before, so I definitely took advantage of the day off to get right, but hopefully that continues.
You obviously didn't get much of a chance to play this team last spring in the playoffs. How do you view this matchup now compared to last spring?
I mean, it's different without Jimmy, but we're not going to get lulled into thinking tonight is exactly who they are. Just that idea that they're in the Western Conference Finals 2 years in a row, and with they're pretty much the entire same team back. So Ant's been playing at a high level. Dante shooting the ball well. You had some other guys who had some off nights, so we got to understand who they are and who we're trying to be, and validate tonight with another great performance tomorrow. So
Moses Moody was huge, giving you 19 points and 8 boards, but more importantly, attacking the rim and forcing the defense to collapse. Brandon Podziemski continues to do everything, scoring, passing, defending, and setting the pace. Even Steph on defense was locked in, and that's where this game was won. 4 Curry steals directly led to 9 Warriors points. That's effort translating straight into wins. And look at who the Warriors shut down. Jaden McDaniels had 3 points. Julius Randle needed 11 shots just to get 11 points. Naz Reid scored 0. Rudy Gobert had no impact. The Timberwolves' front line was erased, and that is not easy to do against a team built around size and athleticism. Now, yes, there are things to monitor. Gary Payton II's minutes have not been good lately, and the numbers don't lie. But that is a small issue compared to what this team just showed. They won without Jimmy Butler, they won by committing to defense, and they won by trusting their system. The Warriors are now 26-21, right on Minnesota's heels in the standings, and playing like a team that is starting to believe again. Steph is still elite, the role players are stepping up, and the defense is finally matching the offense. That combination is dangerous in the West. So Warriors fans, this is where it gets interesting. Do you believe this version of Golden State is real? Is this the turning point of the season? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button if you love what you saw, and make sure you subscribe to Warriors Nation News so you don't miss a single moment of this run.